Okay, hello and welcome. So this is going to be a short video on how to run the Tense Computer Improviser, this update that I've just done today, version 1.01. So I'm going to start from everything being closed. So here is the file, here are all the files for the Tense Computer Improviser. So you'll see it's a bunch of JSON files and patchers and GenDSP files and whatnot. So the _TCI is the only one that you're going to need to open. And I'm just going to rename it that. And so I will zip this up and make it available for download via a link in the description and on my website. And I will also have a GitHub update so you can download it from there, whatever you prefer. So all you need to open from all these files is the _TCI. It will just take a second. It's a fairly large patch, as you can see. So once it's opened, it will look like this. A bit of a mess, so I probably will clean up a little before I upload it. So presentation mode is what you want here. And you'll see it's automatically set. The audio may be off or it may be on, but it's automatically set for your input to be on channel 1, but you can switch your input here or turn it off. And I've added this README, which has the operations, which is what I will be covering now. So first of all, there are some package dependencies. So you need ML star and the Flucoma packages. So those can be obtained using the package manager within Max. So if you just use a search for remote packages, Flucoma, fluid corpus manipulation. So you need that package, and then ml.star. There it is, ml.star by Benjamin D. Smith. Okay, so both wonderful packages, both of which are required for this patch to function. So if you open it up and you don't have these packages, or you don't have the Flucoma package specifically, you won't see all these multi-sliders analyzing the input. Okay, so once that's set up, enter presentation mode and hit the initialize button. So this will set sort of default levels on the improviser, on the live processing, on the reverb of the input, or global reverb, and the amplification of the input. I'm just going to turn this all the way down because it's going to be redundant to the direct microphone that you're hearing now. But for performance, you probably want to put a little bit of the signal into the through the Tense Computer Improviser itself, and then the master faders here. I'm going to turn processing down a little bit. Okay, so if you would like to apply any processing to your input before it is heard by the improviser, that is done here. So it's not unlikely that you might want to put a compressor or an equalizer here, though I personally do that in Total Mix, which is the software used for my audio interface. So I have a compressor on my voice and an equalizer on my voice already, so it's not really needed, but that's there for you to add that if you so desire. One thing to make sure that is functioning reliably is the onset detection. So there are 4 different types of onsets being detected. The one in the bottom left is the most important one for the operation of the improviser. So bop, 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 bop. So the bottom left one's working very well. Ideally, all of them are working reasonably well in different ways. So some will get, or some are based on novelty, so does it hear something new? Amplitude, onset, which is looking at, I think, energy specifically, and then transients. So if I'm finding that the onset detection is a little too active, like I don't want it to get changes of phonemes or something like that, maybe I'll turn it up a little bit on the threshold. Let's do 0.25. Hello, See, now it's not getting as much as I would like, so let's go down to 1.8. We can settle there. And so you can save these as presets if need be. So you could have a guitar preset, a violin preset, and so on and so forth. Okay, so once that's all set, the next step is to build and analyze the audio corpus that is going to be sampled by the improviser. So this can be done in 3 ways. You can load a single audio file hitting the replace button. You can load a folder full of audio files hitting the load folder, or you can record an audio corpus using the input that you have connected. So I'm going to load a single file. Okay, so I'm going to load in some guitar harmonics. Okay, so I've loaded in the guitar harmonics audio file. Then I'll just need to follow these steps. So I'll do onset detection, then the analysis. So let's just hit the onset detection as is. Now it's a 5 minutes of audio, so it takes a minute. So you see it didn't get all the onsets that I would want. So I'm going to adjust the threshold down to 0.2 and set the minimum slice length, because there's a time between each of the attacks I can see. So I'm just going to increase the minimum slice length. So that's 25 FFT frames, I believe. And let's see if I can get a bit more accurate of a result. Okay, so I'm still missing a couple, so let's reduce it a little bit more. And then I'll just go with whatever this ends up being if it's missing one or two. Okay, so yeah, that's good enough. So now I have a bunch of slices of my audio file. So each one of these represents an attack point. And so now each of these attack points I'm going to analyze with the MFCCs, chroma, spectral characteristics, mel frequency bands, and their pitch. So this can take a second. So I hit the analysis button, all the UI freezes. Audio is still moving through the patch, so it shouldn't hitch. And then once it's done, I have my analysis. So here we can just click on these to hear the samples. So the top ones are grains, so equal sized slices of the audio, and the bottom are the onsets. Right, so we could manually press it there, but now we're all set to actually run the patch. So if I turn it on, it should start reacting to my voice. So ba 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 ba. I turn it up a little bit. Da da da. Bum ba 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 ba. Okay, great. So when you turn it off, a few processes will sort of finish. I got my let me just turn those down. So it might take a little time for the audio to actually stop once you've turned it off. It doesn't just cut off the audio, it just turns off the improvising behaviors. In manual controls, you'll find a list of the different types of behaviors. So these are sort of more advanced ways of using the Computer Improviser, where you can block certain types of behaviors or begin certain types of behaviors as well. And the behaviors themselves you can monitor here. You can see what behaviors are on, what gestures are being triggered. There will be some future improvements to the manual controls, but for now that is the basic operations of the patch. So thank you. I hope you enjoy. I hope this all makes sense. Please comment down below if there's anything that isn't working. Again, I'll reiterate that the analysis step can take a bit of time and the UI will freeze up, but it is working. I've tested it on a Mac, I've tested it on a PC. For me, it doesn't ever crash, but it can take a bit of time. So if you have like more than 10 minutes of audio, I would suggest sticking to under 10 minutes of audio for the corpus. But if you have more than that, it could take quite a while for that analysis to complete. Okay, so thank you, and until next time.